Hello everyone, I am Rod and I am the game design instructor for the Academy of Entertainment Arts over at Dixie Hollands High School. If you are one of my students, it's Mr. Flowers to you, and welcome to this video tutorial. Welcome back. So in the last video we went ahead and made this very simple mouth inside of Photoshop and then set it up in Maya. I'm going to show you how to do a very similar thing. It's a little bit quicker, but it's not as nice looking. If you're making a very fast game and you just need to have something that looks like teeth in the mouth, this will work. It just won't be as high detail. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this on its own layer. So grab all these pieces, and I'm going to call this mouth 1. So create from selected. New layer, I'll call this mouth. I'll do planes, because that's how we did this one. Next, I'm going to do a cylinder. So create polygons, cylinder. And much like I did before, I'm going to give this a radius, I'll say 25. And my radius isn't that big of a deal. I'm just making it large enough so I can work on it without my camera getting weird. When you work on things real tiny in Maya, the camera gets buggy. So anyway, so I have that. The height I'm not going to be too particular about. Subdivisions I'm going to keep as they are. I'm going to go up top, and I will, just like I did before, I'll go into face mode, and I will take all these back faces. Go ahead and cut those off. And now I'm going to fix the back of this. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go into edge mode, and I'm just going to grab this edge. I do have symmetry selected or toggled on. That's under your tool settings. So under symmetry, I have symmetry X selected. Usually it's off by default. So it's up to you if you're using it or not. Just wanted you to know that I am grabbing this edge, which is both edges here, because it's grabbing both. And then I grab this bottom one as well. I'm going to hold shift, right click, and I'm going to come down to bridge. And that's going to close that hole off. And I'm just going to drop this down to 0 subdivisions. And now I have that back fixed. So up here, subdivisions, I just hit 0. There we go. So this is my mouth shape. And just like I did before, I'm going to scale this down. So grab my scaling tool. I'm going to scale that in. Okay, so this gives me my basic mouth shape. And if you think about it, if we look at the way the mouth looks in here, this will work. We have on one side of the mouth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on the size of the mouth, 7 or 8 teeth. And with the cylinder I just created, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have about 5 teeth. So we have our 2 incisors, our canine, and then our premolars. So I have enough here to create the illusion of a mouth without going too crazy. What I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go into edge mode, and I'm going to grab all of these edges here. So I'm going to select these and this middle one. So I have all of these. I'm going to hold shift, right click, go down to connect component, and that's going to create an edge loop in here. See that? I'm going to select this edge loop, and I'm just going to scale this to however I need it to be. I'm going to scale it up to where I think my teeth are going to be, and then I'll scale it out. Oops. Since I have symmetry mode on, scaling out's not going to work, so I'm going to go and grab the move tool, and I'll just pull them out. And I'm going to go until I'm happy with what I have, about there. I'll continue in vertex mode, that way I can control this a little bit more precisely. I'll grab these teeth here, or these here, not those ones, but just this edge. Pull those out, and you can see where I'm going with this. I'm going to come grab these 3, and I'll move those. and there we have positions for teeth to form. Now I do have some issues with quads, so if you want to make this some quadrilaterals or whatever across here, then you're gonna have to do some finagling just like I will. First things first, the back of the mouth here, I'm going to grab these and I'm just going to snap them to the grid. So hold X, click and drag, that snaps to the grid. And then this group here, just move them okay. And I will, to save a little bit of time, I'm going to delete this bottom grouping here. The reason I'm going to delete it is you can see it isn't getting all the information. When I did my top edge row, it didn't complete it. And instead of going there and cutting this in and making it fancy, I'm just going to delete this bottom group. So go into face mode, select the bottom, delete that off. Go into object mode, and I will just center my pivot, so modify center pivot, and I will snap that to the grid by holding X and snapping it down. So now anything I do here I only have to do once, and then when I extrude it, it'll have everything I need. So first things first, I need to fix my quads. Like I did in the last video, I'm just going to grab the edges that I don't want. Now I'm going to go grab my multi-cut tool, and I will just go from this vertex to this vertex, and then right click, this vertex to this vertex, right click, this vertex to that one, right click, and now I have all quads and everything's hunky-dory. So this is the basic shape for the mouth. We've also solved the basic shape for the tongue, so this is going to be here as well, and we can have some fun with that. With this selected in object mode, I'm going to hit the extrude tool, and that's just going to give me some depth. So there we go. I'm going to extrude this where we see local Z. I'm going to make it a 1. And now I'm going to grab the pieces for my teeth. So these are going to be my teeth. I'm going to extrude again. And I'm going to pull this up, and this will form the beginning of like my gum line. So I'll hit this little box here. I'll scale this in. That curves it back. And all I did is I selected the box, and then I grabbed the middle box. Okay. Next, what I want to do is extrude one more time. So I'm going to hit the extrude button. And now these are going to be the formations of my teeth. I'm going to pull this up. Let's hit 1. No, it looks like 2 is going to be the better. And down here where it says keep faces together, where it's set to on, I'm going to set that to off. And now when I scale these, they'll separate. And I have the beginnings of some teeth. I'm going to keep them pretty close together, but have some gap. And there's a very basic jawline for the teeth. Okay. I'll do a little bit of manipulating to this. I'm not going to go too crazy, but I will pull these in, and you can see that now we have some teeth there. I'll pull these in. Like I said, this one's not going to be as precise as the last one, but it will give us something that looks like teeth, and we can create a very simple mouth box from it. And I am working in symmetry mode, so I only have to do one side. Okay. If you wanted to give these any more depth or whatever, you could just cut them up. So here's the one set. And then I can just duplicate this. Go ahead and rotate it 180. The bottom jaw is smaller than the top jaw, so I will scale that in some. And it's not perfect, but it does give us a very basic mouth that we can use. And then for the tongue, all we're going to do is make that out of here. So I'm going to grab these. I'm going to hold Shift, right-click, go to Duplicate Face. And then I'll go to Object Mode, so I'll press F8 for Object Mode. Hold Control, and I will Control-click the thing that I don't want, which is the mouth. And now I have just my tongue piece. I'll raise the tongue up just a little bit, and I will extrude to give it some thickness. So there's the tongue. Here's our teeth. And anything we do create, we do need to do UVs. So up in the UV panel here, UV editor, we end up with this. For the tongue, that's not, actually none of these will work. So you have to be fancy and do some UV work. So I'm going to project from the top here, UV, planar. That gives me this. And I'm just going to separate my teeth from the gum line. So go into edge mode, and I'll just select this edge. I'll double click, see if it'll go all the way around. No, it's not going to go. It's all right. Get that edge. Separate that off. There is an edge in between my teeth here. I'm just trying to get it. Go into, whoops. Go into wireframe, see if I can select that edge. There we go. Have those. I'll go up to polygons, and I'll go down to cut UV edges. So now I have two primary shells. So I have this shell here, and I have this. These are going to be my teeth. You can see what happens if I try to unfold this. I don't think this will unfold favorably. I'm going to have to cut the base of this. So let's see what Maya does when I unfold it. I'm surprised. Let me grab my tool, smooth tool. See if I can unfold this anymore. It doesn't look like there's anything overlapping, which is cool. That worked. And I'll just grab these UVs. If you can't select anything, that just means the smooth tool is still working. So just hit Q, it'll deselect that tool. And then select your teeth. You can do all of them at once or one tooth at a time. I'm just going to grab them all. And I'll just do an unfold. Not quite the way I wanted it to go. You see how my smooth tool works. That'll do. Here's one tooth. Here's that next tooth. And again, these are just very simple teeth, so I'm not going to go crazy on making it fancy. So there are those unfolded. I'm going to select them all. And I'm going to let Maya just lay these out just because it'll do it for me. So there we go. It'll lay it out. We have some teeth, and this is open for the one part of the jaw. I'm going to, instead of doing it twice, I'm going to do a little bit of a trick. The way to do this is you select the one that you've already done, select the one that you're going to do, and then go up to Mesh, go down to Transfer Attributes, and we're going to hit the little options box here. In our options, just have it set to Component. The rest of this is default, and then I'm just going to hit Apply. And that should transfer the UVs across. And if I select this, there they are. So both of them are now done. Since we made both of these the same and we duplicated off, it transfers very nicely. Now what you have to do once you transfer is you have to delete the history. If you don't and you modify something, it'll copy. So I'm going to hit Close, and I'm going to go up to Edit, Delete by Type, History. So now we should be safe on that. I'm going to do this for both objects. Okay. And then the tongue. The tongue's going to be pretty simple. We're just going to do a projection from the top, and then we're going to split it. So UV's planar from the Y. That gives us this. And we're just going to split the tongue on one of the edges here. So I'm going to grab an edge, and I'll just double click. And I'll select this back edge. I'm going to hop out of wireframe so it's easier to see. Polygons, cut edges, separate them off. Grab this one, I will unfold it using the smooth tool. Now if you go to unfold something and it turns inside out, just flip the UVs. So up here, little sailboat looking thing, just hit flip and then try it again. Whoops, come here. And there we go. Hit Q to get rid of the tool. I'll grab these. And what I'll do is to make these all on one texture map, going to select all three of them. Okay. And I'm going to go up to Polygons, and I'll hit Layout, and it'll lay out all of the pieces for me. So there's all my teeth. It's kind of in different places. We can take this into Photoshop and color on it and get whatever we wanted for these. So for example, if I grab these, I select all of them, and I say Polygons, UV Snapshot. It's going to give you a file name. This is a big output address, and this goes to Maya's default location. You can change this if you like by hitting the Browse button. I'm going to leave it at Maya's default. But right here where it says Out UVs, I'll just call this Teeth UVs 1. And I will change my size to 2048. And I will save this out as a PNG. You can use Maya if it does open in Photoshop. Bitmaps are fine. PNGs work well. I would not do JPEG. It just makes life harder because it it pixelates everything and it's just gross. And then I'll hit OK. There we go. Go ahead and save real quick. And then in Photoshop, so here's my original teeth that we did last video. I'm going to make a new document. .2048 by 2048 because that's the size of my teeth. I'll call this teeth texture map 1. And then I would jump into the Maya folder, and that's in Documents, and then Maya, and then Projects, Default, and then Images. And I should have teeth in here somewhere. Teeth UVs. Throw those in. Since my background is transparent, we can't see anything, so I'm just going to add a layer, pull that down, I'll fill that with black. There we go. And now it's just a matter of painting. I'm going to create a new layer. I'll just call this color. And it's just a matter of painting whatever you want. So for this, I'm going to use the same color that I did here. I'm going to grab my little eyedropper, steal that pink color, and on my color tool or tab, I'm going to just bring this up. And anything that's supposed to have that pink color, I'm going to paint it in. Oh, I still have the black color selected. Now this is not going to be as precise. I'm just going to color where the UVs are. Now this is kind of like coloring in a picture book. You want to make sure that you're about inside the lines. It's not as perfect. The edge of the UV line is where it's going to stop reading. So I'm just going to get some overlap, and that's going to be okay. It's going to try to do some anti-aliasing. So it's going to grab whatever pixels are on the very edge. So it's okay to go out of the line just a little bit. This is not the most creative way of texture mapping, but this will get the job done. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is paint my teeth. So I'm going to grab the teeth color that I used last time. Jump in here, make sure I have my teeth color selected, and anything that's a tooth is going to get painted. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so I can see what I'm doing. Now I left that, that's supposed to be pink. That needs to be pink. Now if I would have taken the time to space these out properly inside of Maya on the UV shell, it would be easier to paint these. But I'm going to zoom in here, just because these are real close to each other. Drop my brush down. There's one tooth. I want the tooth, the whole tooth, and nothing but the tooth. Ah, too much. And then up on this area where there's a bunch of teeth together, I'm just gonna paint a big white glob. I will fill that in. There we go. I will turn off my UVs, that way they don't show up on the actual picture. And then I will save this. Yep. And like usual, I'll make it a Targa. You could open a Photoshop file in Maya, but I'll just make it a Targa. This one does not have a alpha channel, so set it to 24-bit. Jump into Maya, and then on these, I'll select all of them, and I will give them the same Lambert. Go into Material Attributes. I'll call this Teeth Color 2, and I'll drop in that picture. If ever you go to do that and you get a red line, that's Maya being stupid. Just hit the cancel button and do it again. And this will be teeth, texture, something or another. Teeth texture map. I'll hit 6 on the keyboard, and there I have my teeth and my gums and my tongue painted. And this will work for a very simplistic game that doesn't have to have high detail or anything like that. Okay. In the next video, I'm going to show you the last way that I would do this, and it's going to be a little bit more complicated because we're going to make each individual tooth, but hopefully you'll find that to be educational. Anyways, go ahead and save your work, and I will see you on the next video.